Hey everybody, it's Aluna Michaels, Esoteric and Quantum Astrologer, talking to you about the events of, um, where are we? August 2017. I'm so excited to talk about the eclipse and everything. I was like, what month is this? Okay, lots to talk about. First of all, and I try to throw a lot at you kind of quickly, so hang with me. So let's just start out to say this. Mercury and Uranus kind of have a connection in that the planet Mercury is like your day-to-day thinking, and Uranus is like the genius thinking, like aha, so it's like breakthrough ideas and it's communication on that really higher level. Of course, Uranus also represents technology, like Mercury can be technology, but we think like more day-to-day technology, like your cell phone is Mercury, or your computer stuff. But ultimately, they're Uranus in the sense of expanded communication and the capacity for quick communication. So the planet Uranus just went retrograde. Actually, I'm doing this on the 3rd, so yesterday, today, it's turning backwards. And we're also going into a Mercury retrograde as well. Mercury is retrograding in Virgo, which is one of Gemini and Virgo are ruled by Mercury. So there's a whole lot of interesting stuff going on there. If we've got both planets representing, thinking, communication, levels of understanding, both going backwards, some people can think, oh God, great, and it's true that some day-to-day things can be a little more jumbly. But remember the feeling about those retrograde planets, especially the Mercury retrograde, is going within, and especially when it's in Virgo, what am I out of alignment with? Virgo has a lot to do with your values and, really like who you are, what makes you you, like the little things that add up to you. And so when Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo, it's like, okay, what day-to-day things can I be doing that represent this bigger picture of me? And for instance, if you say you're interested in natural health or organic vegetables or something, and then you just are busy and you just go to McDonald's all the time. It's like, if like my little daily steps are not adding up to eating organic vegetables or being healthier or something. So that Mercury retrograde can say, okay, what do I need to do on kind of a moment-to-moment basis that adds up to this who I really want to be picture? So Virgo is the opposite of Pisces, and so Virgo represents those little things you do to get to that big picture of Pisces, the dream of who I am, the ideal of who I am. If you're going to be your ideal, you've got little steps that you either do to get there or maintain that ideal. So that's the Virgo part. So that's where you could look at those kinds of things and see what could I adapt to become more of my ideal self. The other thing is the planet Saturn is going to be going direct, and that's something we'll talk about in a second, but Saturn also represents those kind of set of values, and Saturn in another way represents sort of this foundation piece you're setting up, like to build your house on, and making sure that foundation is, the concrete is poured where you want to be, and it's a steady space to build who you are. So there's kind of two things going on about that, who I am and does it match? Does what I do and think and say and behave and all that match who I really want to be? And if not, why not? And what can I change? And sometimes it is just a small thing. And you could have that aha moment with also the Uranus going retrograde, like, if I just did this, that, if I just made my meals and brought them with me, I wouldn't have to go to McDonald's. That's just a simple thing. But, you could have this aha thing about how maybe it's not so hard to get that new routine in place so you are your ideal self, of whatever angle of life you want to do that. So let's just also now talk about the dates of the Mercury retrograde. It is going to go retrograde on the 13th of August, and it will go direct roughly the 5th of September. If you want to know the degrees, it retrogrades at 11 degrees of Virgo, and it goes back to 28 degrees of Leo, which we'll talk about when we talk about the eclipse, so just remember 28 Leo. When some people like to know when it started to go retrograde, which is, when was Mercury 28 Leo before, which was in the end of July, I believe. It was like July 30th. Some people say, things get a little weird when Mercury's in that pre-retrograde phase.
A lot of people think that once Mercury goes retrograde, it's a little easier than the few weeks before. I don't know why that is, but there's probably some reason. But maybe because you're not struggling with the process as much, and going internal to understand what you need to do, and maybe not pushing so hard against the making the outer happen right now. It's like, what do I need to clear out inner to get the outer? Anyways, so we're going to go into that actual retrograde till the beginning of September. Now, let's see, what will I layer on next here? Well, let me first talk about the Saturn, okay, because we're having 2 eclipses this month, and then Saturn's moving direct. Saturn's moving direct around the time of the total eclipse on August 21st. So we're going to have, and I'll talk about the eclipse in a minute, but so the total eclipse is August 21st, and Saturn will move direct on August 24th. So they're roughly around the same time. Saturn, of course, the outer planets, and if we say Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, go retrograde once a year and direct once a year. So it's not so much a big deal that they're retrograde the whole time when they're retrograde, but that turning point time has a lot to do with things. So Saturn's going to be moving direct that third week of August, around the 24th. It's been retrograde since April, and it's going direct at 21 degrees of Sagittarius. And when it was at 21 before, that was at the new year. And so Saturn, if I might have mentioned this before, it has a 9-month cycle of, it was at 21, and then it went up, and then it backed up, and then it went forward. And it's like a birthing cycle. So if you think about what was going on, really it was right New Year's Eve. It was at that same point that it is going to be going forward at. And Saturn can represent, again, like we're talking about building the foundation, goals that you want to meet. A lot of times, not only is it that steady piece at the bottom, Saturn's a funny energy in that it's the stable piece at the bottom, but it's also the crowning victory at the top of the mountain. So again, if the bottom's stable, you can get to the top, right? It's almost like your spine, that sometimes like your back hurts, but it has to do with your upper neck or something, like the lower back. So Saturn kind of represents that whole alignment through from the top to the bottom of the structure. So anyways, as you are building towards your goal, a lot of times when Saturn is sitting still like it is, it can feel like, oh, I'll never meet the goal. Like I'm doing all the right things and nothing's happening, or the results are coming slowly. Because Saturn's retrograding in Sagittarius, which is like Jupiter and represents your faith, a lot of people can feel like, ugh, like I believed in this and it's not really happening, and am I either not doing something right, or is the belief system not right, or what's going on, So just to say that once that Saturn does go forward, you can feel like, wow, I'm starting to get results, and you just keep hanging on. And again, you already looked at this idea of what little thing can you tweak to get results more easily, not beating yourself up, but this idea of that Mercury retrograde in Virgo. Okay, I can do a little more of this, or plan a little better here, or take this other step, and then the more and more results start tumbling out because that Saturn going forward. And it could have been things you've been really earnestly hoping for or planning for since really the beginning of the year. So all of a sudden these results can come. The other cool thing is that as Saturn moves forward, mathematically it's connecting really well with Jupiter, 21 degrees Libra, 21 degrees Sagittarius. And again, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Saturn's going direct in Sagittarius. So there's this kind of like, Saturn feeling like, yes, I'm feeling more hopeful, it's getting more spark. You're feeling more like, my dreams do come true, So that can start happening slowly but surely after Saturn goes direct on August 24th. Now, the other neat thing is that the new moon eclipse on the 21st is that total eclipse, which is visible in the U.S., so people in the U.S. are excited about that. It's the first time since the 90s. And that eclipse is in Leo, and of course new moons are like, what's new? And Leo is that, you're confident and you feel joyous and all of that. So, and it really is about like your heart chakra,
opening up and like letting your again, that authentic self kind of shine through. So it's a return of optimism, and especially with that Saturn turning around, it's like, I can do it, and good things do happen, and my life is working out. So there's a real good pick me up with that eclipse. And looking at, if you know your birth chart, what house that eclipse is happening in, wherever you have that end of Leo part of your chart, where is that happening? And that can represent an area of your life where you're feeling renewed confidence and joy and stuff like that. Now, here's what's interesting. I love when the planets do these kind of things, is that the eclipse is at 28 degrees of Leo, and Mercury will be retrograding back to 28 Leo. Like I said, September 5th it gets there. So it's like reinforcing that degree. So, really aligning your beliefs and your thoughts. And eclipses, just want to say that the resonance lasts a good, 6 months or so. So just making sure that you're really reinforcing like what beliefs do make you joyous, what actions, what people, reminding yourself like with gratitude lists, so that it isn't just, like just not sustaining that little miracles that you're starting to have. So the Mercury going direct at that point can reinforce like those joy moments that you might have at the eclipse. So even if you were to start a habit of even a gratitude journal, could be something great to do during that time. And that kind of links in the joy of the eclipse in Leo and the Mercury going direct in Leo with the day-to-day little thing. That would be a Virgo thing. I'm writing down 3 things I'm grateful for or whatever every day. And there's a lot of studies you can check out there about just writing down the gratitude list, even more than just thinking about the gratitude, really making a change in your brain biochemistry and your, it's not just like a, thing to do. It's actually a potent kind of change you can make in terms of depression or goal setting and stuff, and just being overall happy. So that could be a kind of neat thing to do with the eclipse and the Mercury. Going back in time here till August 7, we are having a partial eclipse then with the full moon. And what's interesting about that full moon is Mars, the warrior planet and the fighter, is right with the sun. So we've got not just a full moon, which can be a little cuckoo, but or extreme, but the Mars is there too. So really watching out, for yourself, being kind of edgy during that full moon, or other people being sort of hectic or pushy because that Mars is in there, and sometimes you can get kind of the bad side of Leo, of people just being kind of self-focused and sort of running roughshod over you or something. So being aware that people might be in a mood, August 7th or around there with that full moon. So, but getting past that and, kind of brushing that off and moving forward. Not it's going to be the worst thing in the world, but just, emotions can run kind of high during that eclipse. So, I think in general, keeping to see like, okay, what goals have I given up on? How could I put those back into my hopeful mind and see what steps could I take that maybe right now they're easily going to be fulfilled. So getting back on track with those, whether it's health or happiness type things, especially with the Saturn. Saturn can always also be about career choices and things like that. But, feeling that, the universe is in alignment with you and wants you to be happy and wants you to be fulfilled. And how do you most open up to that abundance? Getting the habits out of the way that limit that flow. So if you're opening that space to have more come at you, what day-to-day things, moment-to-moment things can I do to bring in more joy, to allow more success, prosperity, happy relationships, whatever. So I think that's all I want to talk to you about. That was probably a lot. I think I'm out of time. And again, if you want to get in contact with me, aluna@alunamichaels.com. My website is alunamichaels.com. But that's my email, aluna@alunamichaels. And my phone number for calling or texting is 248-583-1663. So have fun this month and enjoy the wonderful things that are coming to you. And I'll see you later. So bye-bye for now.